The answer is no. Kong does not scale to Pink Godzilla when the discussion comes to attack potency, physical strength, and durability. He is just faster than Godzilla though when it comes to combat speed and reaction time, while Godzilla is the faster runner as we see right here. Now, this video is going to be extremely low effort as the AI voice guy doesn't deserve any more than that, so I'll just put a clip of his video, then put my reply to that. Now, the tone of this video isn't going to be like my normal videos, where it's a mildly funny, not very funny video where I just power scale somebody to my heart's extent. This is going to be very much an insulting video where I make fun of MP's arguments brutally. The guy himself, I don't fucking like him, but not because he disagrees with me, I don't care about that. It's because he's a two-faced little bitch who will talk good about me when I'm there, but then behind my back he'll talk shit about me. That's why I don't like him.
First of all, if you pay attention to how Godzilla walks in this sandy area, you can see he seems to walk in a very slippery manner in these areas.
And bro, MP, please look at your fucking clips. That is a city, my boy. That is a city. I don't know if you've ever been to Egypt, probably not. I don't know if you've seen Egypt in film or a movie or even Google Maps, but not everywhere in Egypt is sand, right?
Almost as if he can't run as fast as he normally does. Compare that to Boston, where he runs far faster than he does in Egypt.
The funniest part about this is that on screen, Pink Godzilla is running about as fast as Supercharged Godzilla is, while supposedly being slower than normal. Yeah, now on a more serious note, to begin with, the art style of the CGI in that scene of Pink Godzilla versus the general art style of the CGI in Boston in King of the Monsters is extremely different. Pink Godzilla's running cycle was quite a lot more expressive and also objectively slowed down. We see him having a similar running cycle later on, and it's quite a lot more visually fast. And the same thing goes for the King of the Monsters running cycles and all that. They're quite a lot slower, even though objectively they would be just as fast as TVK fights in verse. Now, here's the thing. There's no way for us to compare the visual speeds of Pink Godzilla and Supercharged Godzilla to each other. We just have vibes and how each person sees that speed, which is to say, it's completely subjective. We have to turn to actual inverse scaling. I know it's scary. We have to turn to actual inverse scaling to ascertain which one of the two guys is faster. But of course, sand in a city.
This means MonsterVerse Egypt had sand that slows down how fast Godzilla can walk or run, giving Kong the environmental advantage.
Kong has smaller feet with no claws, so he'd have it worse in the quote-unquote slippery sand than Godzilla, so he'd be the one who's actually more weakened than Godzilla is in this term. Again, sand isn't shown to slow down Godzilla. Even when he's actually on sand, he's running just as fast as he was in the city visually, and he's a fucking titan with claws that are bigger than the depth of the sand, so they're grabbing onto the earth below that and giving him the ability to run like he normally would. This is just cope.
And we can also tell Godzilla didn't bother using his sense of smell and just blindly ran towards Kong without even thinking.
Godzilla didn't use his sense of smell to run at Kong? Oh my god, he's holding back! He's holding back! He could have one-shot Kong. No, come on, MP, come on, bro. Using his sense of smell, bro. Kong is right fucking there. There's no reason to smell him. Now, what MP is actually saying is that Godzilla wasn't actually fighting Kong in a smart way. He was just kind of flailing at him, which, is supposed to mean anything. Now, to begin with, Godzilla wasn't fighting stupidly. He was fighting the way that he beat Kong with. Godzilla knows that Kong is more skilled than he is in hand-to-hand combat, and that even with the strength advantage, he's still overwhelmed in terms of hand-to-hand combat. That's what happened in Hong Kong after Kong was, in an actually equal environment. Though it was kind of in his advantage, but he didn't use that advantage of being able to climb around to just box Godzilla head on. Godzilla also knows that spamming his atomic breath doesn't work because Kong dodged it for literal hours on end until he barely got clipped, and after that clip, Kong literally never got hit with it again for a few more hours. So Godzilla ultimately had to resort to pure brute aggression, constant, brutal, running Kong down, using his durability to just take everything and ignore everything and keep going. And that's what Pink Godzilla is doing right here, and that's why he's beating Kong up so badly. He's not giving Kong a fight, he's giving Kong an animal.
Which is what played a huge factor. We still see Godzilla walking in a slippery manner, while Kong is walking perfectly fine. This is more proof that the
Oh my god, Kong never even fucking walked in the clips that you showed of him. What are you talking about? Also, again, Godzilla is running just fine, the same way that he did in the city where there was no sand to be slipped in. So you're kinda just wrong by the clips you showed in your own video.
environment also played a factor, as it means Kong's legs were more adapted for Monster vs. Egypt. Plus,
he says this while being wrong by the very clips that he showed, and by being wrong on an objective level. Animals that run a lot have claws that grab onto the ground. Creatures that can't run as much as them don't have a way to grab onto the ground. For example, humans, muscularly, we could be running a lot faster, and among the reasons why we don't run as fast is that our feet aren't made for traction on the ground. That's why dogs and cheetahs and even bears have such claws. Kong doesn't have them, and Godzilla's claws, while not runner claws, are claws, so they're gonna hold onto the ground. And Kong's toes can't do that. So on an objective level, Kong isn't better adapted for a place that he can slip in. On another objective level, the little bit of sand on Egypt isn't gonna slip 100-meter tall titans. And on an even more objective level, we on-screen see that neither of the titans are affected by the sand.
even then Kong was clearly not winning at all. He did knock Godzilla down to the ground, but none of his punches worked.
This also gets into why my fans, the people who get their arguments from me, say that Kong scales to Pink Godzilla. They don't mean this in that Kong was standing his ground and beating Godzilla, I hope. They get it because, as I've told them, Kong took every last one of Godzilla's attacks just fine with no lasting damage, even though Godzilla has 2 supercharges and an evolution stacked onto himself in a base that is stronger than D21. And the fact that he was also outspeeding this Godzilla, who, again, stronger base than D21, 2 superchargers, and an evolution, the evolution specifically making him faster. That's why they say that Kong scales to Godzilla. The other people, sure. Some of my fans, they probably say that Kong was actually scaling to Godzilla. I personally, as I've said in the beginning of the video, don't believe Kong actually scales to Pink Godzilla. I believe that Kong got scaling from Pink Godzilla that puts him above pretty much everything in the verse except like 4 kaiju. That doesn't mean that I think Kong scales to Pink Godzilla, I think Kong scales from him stuff. That's what also my fans, the ones who actually listen to me, would say. Now, are there people who say that Kong actually scales to Godzilla? Yes. Are those people fucking wrong when it comes to Pink Godzilla? Yes, they are. Is that any reason to start talking about some Godzilla was slowed down by sand? Also no. Don't downplay, don't overplay, don't wank, and don't hate. Just scale.
The claim Kong could have killed Godzilla is objectively wrong because he couldn't even dent him.
That's just true. And here we see Kong repeatedly keeping Godzilla down, stunning him to where he can just, push Kong away. Now, I've said this a billion times across my videos and I will continue to say it. Stunning Monster vs. Godzilla means that you have scaling to his atomic breath, as taking multiple times his 1 atomic breath while extremely weakened in terms of his durability, Godzilla was only stunned. The only thing that was really hurt was his ego. So Kong stunning a Godzilla who is 20 times more powerful when it comes to his energy and thus directly 20 times more durable, that means that Kong is vastly more powerful than he was in GVK and significantly stronger than at least a baseline atomic breath, if not more realistically. This is also why I say that Kong gets scaling from Pink Godzilla, because realistically all he's doing is just stunning Pink Godzilla with multiple punches. That's not really doing anything to Pink Godzilla. It's just that Pink Godzilla is so powerful that even doing that gets Kong to be extremely strong. That's the crux of my argument.
So
immediately after this, we see Pink Godzilla's eyes roll up, and the way that they roll up, and the way that he goes limp, and the way that a few seconds after that, he is jerking back up. That is pretty much textbook real-life knockouts. In real life, some knockouts are a bit longer, some knockouts don't even knock you out properly, some knockouts are delayed, and some knockouts are like Godzilla's, where it's delayed and it's short and you jerk back up. So Godzilla's knockout is extremely realistic and consistent with the verse where we see Godzilla get knocked out against Kong as well during the Tasman Sea when getting caught off guard by a headbutt. That had him getting up within 12 seconds or something like that, as after 20 seconds we see him right up in the surface again. Also, these punches by Kong are weakened by sand the same way that Godzilla's stomps are also weakened by sand. Adam Wingard's statement applies to Kong just as much as it applies to Pink Godzilla. They're in the same environment. So, weakened King Kong punches are capable of stunning a Godzilla who is so durable that even stunning him makes you relative, if not superior, to his own atomic breath. You can cry me a fucking river, that's just how it is by the very film.
even with 12 punches, Kong still couldn't dent Godzilla's face, which disproves the claim Kong went relative to Godzilla because he couldn't even hurt him at all.
That's just true, nothing to add.
Moreover, the head is a very sensitive part of the body, which makes Kong failing to dent it even more embarrassing.
Hey guys, this is Godzilla tanking to the face, to the nose, to his wide open mouth, multiple times his own atomic breath. Sensitive part of the body, guys, for fucking sure.
And Kong specifically target Godzilla's gills, which are his weak spot.
Just wrong. Look at your own clips, buddy.
Also, we have a statement from Adam Wingard confirming Kong lost his temper, meaning he wasn't holding back anymore and actually tried to kill Godzilla with full power.
Yes, Kong did lose his temper, and yes, Kong wasn't holding back at that time. But this does not mean that Kong was trying to kill Godzilla. Even when Kong loses his temper, he still keeps his goals in mind. And also when Kong tries to kill things, he doesn't just knock them out and then start dragging them towards a portal. MP, look at your old fucking clips, look at them, bro.
Good, but he couldn't. He punched him about 12 times, and he took it just fine. Why does Kong failing to kill Godzilla in 12 hits downscale him?
The answer is that they don't, because Pink Godzilla is so much more durable than before, and before Kong couldn't kill Godzilla anyway, so there's literally no contradiction, just Kong doing the same things that he was doing to Godzilla before on a much more durable Godzilla, so Kong is showing himself to have gotten a lot stronger.
Well, because he used full power on him, and again, he still couldn't dent him even. And you know what happens after Kong's failed attempt to kill Godzilla? After Kong failed to kill Godzilla, something similar happens to the Hong Kong fight. Kong is trying to avoid Godzilla's beam in a similar way he did back in Godzilla vs. Kong, but this time this fight ends a lot more quickly. As far as I can tell, Godzilla's atomic breath could have destroyed Kong's beast glove if he landed a hit. The main reason I am saying this is because it was confirmed Kong's battle axe is more powerful than his beast glove.
It was not confirmed. It's Kong's opinion on needing the axe to block the atomic breath. Because in the past, that's what the axe did, and he's never seen the beast glove do that. He doesn't know the beast glove's durability, which is, above the earlier atomic breath from G21, but let's not get into that. And he doesn't know that Pink Godzilla's atomic breath is so immensely powerful now. I do agree that the beast glove probably would have just gotten melted through, but I need to correct this fucking guy, bro. Come on.
Yes, the beast glove is said to be powerful, not as much as the battle axe. The fact the battle axe was confirmed stronger than the beast glove means the beast glove would be melted away by Godzilla's atomic breath.
Because the battle axe is greater than the beast glove gets melted through with no difficulty because... yes?
Orbit. We saw Godzilla heavily injure Kong by stepping on his chest.
Kong proceeds to get up and fight for the rest of the movie with absolutely no show of pain, which, you know, he would show it if he were heavily injured, or, you know, he'd at least be weakened, or it would be mentioned that Kong is hurt, or, you know, Adam would have said that Kong was hurt. Oh, wait. He said Kong wasn't that hurt because Godzilla was weakened, because Godzilla's stomps were weakened by the sand. So, MP, you are just wrong!
3 times. And let's remember it was confirmed that if it weren't for the sand, Godzilla would have killed Kong in just a single step.
No, Adam said that Kong would have been destroyed the same way that he was in GVK because of those stomps, were it not for the sand, meaning that Kong's ribs would have been broken within 2 stomps. Shut the fuck up, bro. Come on, like, actually just listen to the stuff you're putting your own video for. Like, brother, I've not seen just an inability to process stuff against your own agenda since 2023, bro.
Sands actually scale high in the Monsterverse and is the main reason why Godzilla didn't one-shot Kong.
Sand scales high in the Monsterverse. MP agrees with Super Planet MP. Yes.
Well, see, like in the last.
Let's actually read this for a second. Sand cushion Kong's blows. He means the stomps. Like, just let that slide. Otherwise, Kong would have died. No, otherwise Kong's ribs would have been broken. Logically applies to the spear tackle and suplex too. The suplex, I can understand why you'd think it was also weakened by the sand. By this, what, the spear tackle? What the fuck are you talking about? How is the spear tackle weakened by sand? And how would it have murdered Kong if it just didn't? Like, it didn't. Like, it right on screen, it didn't kill Kong and it had no sand to weaken it. What are you talking about? And MP also says that a suplex and a spear tackle are gonna take more force to produce. Sure, but that's not how Godzilla's stomps are portrayed in the Monsterverse, and that's also not how fighting works. A suplex doesn't have that much force behind it compared to even just a punch or a kick. And the spear tackle, believe it or not, is not as impressive as fucking Roman Reigns would tell you that it is. A stomp is an incredibly dangerous move that, when applied correctly, puts the entirety of one's weight down on you in a tiny surface area. Godzilla's stomps specifically are portrayed as massively stronger than his own body. Look at, for example, his fight against Ghidorah. Literally the only attacks that made Ghidorah scream in pain was a full body tail whip and Godzilla stomping on his neck. And then look at Prime. All of Godzilla's attacks, even a fucking atomic breath, did pretty much little damage to the Mucho Prime, but then a stomp absolutely cracked her head. Godzilla's stomps are extremely powerful attacks. We can even see this in GVK. All of Godzilla's attacks they did hurt Kong, but they didn't hurt him nearly as much as those 2 stomps did. So no, Godzilla's spear tackle isn't weakened by sand, and his suplex isn't more powerful than those stomps.
Evolved Godzilla is a one-shot gap above Beast Glove Kong, which...
Because he obviously killed Kong with that spear tackle. Obviously, he's a one-shot gap stronger.
means he is 10 times more powerful. And base evolved Godzilla is only 2 times more powerful than Godzilla's regular base form, so this means base Godzilla can also kill Beast Glove Kong with just 2 steps.
This statement is saying that Pink Godzilla is twice as powerful as he was when he entered the iceberg, and that is Power Plant Godzilla, who is already a supercharge. Go watch my video on Pink Godzilla, but basically Pink Godzilla is 4 times more powerful than he was in base physically. And given that I've already established Kong wasn't anywhere near getting one shot, then that means that Beast Glove Kong is tanking all of base Godzilla's attacks with little difficulty, since he took attacks that were 4 times stronger.
This once again shows that Kong does not scale to evolved Godzilla. King Kong would have died if it weren't for Mothra saving him.
Yeah, that's true.
This is what Kong fanboys constantly ignore. It was confirmed that even in his regular base form Godzilla would still be very much capable of killing Beast Glove Kong very easily.
This statement is in itself invalid. To begin with, nobody knows how strong Beast Glove Kong is or how much more powerful GXK Kong is than GVK Kong. Also, Bernie is talking about D21, Eileen is talking about Power Plant Godzilla, Trapper doesn't even know anything about Godzilla at all. So what the fuck are we talking about here? We got 3 people talking about 3 different Godzillas, talking about a Kong who they don't even know is massively stronger than he used to be. So the statement, in and of itself, is wrong. And even if it were them talking about Beast Glove Kong and Base Godzilla, they're wrong by feet.
Which means Kong doesn't scale to base Evolved Godzilla after all. Also, if you actually paid proper attention you can see the only reason Evolved Godzilla was on the ground kind of defenseless is due to the sand tripping him down.
Oh yeah, Godzilla just tripped. It's definitely not because Kong literally sent him flying and then stacked 11 more punches onto that. It's definitely... No, it's sand. Come on, bro. Anakin, you gotta love the sand.
Tripping him down. And even the novel and movie make this pretty clear.
Please guess why MP doesn't show you a scan of the novel saying that Godzilla was tripping on the sand. Please guess why he doesn't show you that. It's definitely because he just lost the scan.
So really it was only the sand that played a huge factor, which is pretty obvious. If it weren't...
Oh yeah, it's definitely sand, not Kong dodging or Kong knocking Godzilla down and then out. It's definitely not Mothra saving Kong from that atomic breath. It's also not that Kong is just a more skilled fighter than Godzilla. No. It was all sand. And before you mention that the sand saved Kong from those stomps, you also gotta realize that the only reason Godzilla ever got to that point was because Kong accidentally made a sand screen while dodging the atomic breath. So, yeah, it was definitely the sand that saved Kong, you know? Come on.
If for the sand, Godzilla would have immediately killed King Kong with a single blow without even trying.
Here we see Godzilla hitting Kong with a single blow, really trying, and Kong isn't dead. Huh, that's weird. Oh, it must have been the sand. It made Godzilla 10 times slower and weaker.
We can compare Godzilla's fights with Shimo where he actually tries and Kong's fights with Shimo too. We can see Kong isn't comparable to Godzilla at all.
Godzilla isn't comparable to Shimo at all either.
Even in his base form we see Evolved Godzilla go somewhat relative to Shimo.
He said while showing clips that do not imply relativity, just the thrashing around and no gravity. He's obviously ignoring that part where Shimo shoved Godzilla and he was like screaming in pain and amping himself. Oh no, that was just definitely sand helping Shimo.
Obviously he isn't particularly relative, but he is in some regards. Whereas, in the case of Kong he just gets ragdolled by Shimo and isn't putting anything of a fight at all.
You know what's funny? He uses the best clip for Godzilla when it comes to wanking him to be relative to Shimo, and then he uses Shimo completely off-guarding Kong to say that he didn't present any fight at all. I'm not saying that Kong scales to Shimo, Godzilla doesn't either. I'm not saying that Kong could fight back against Shimo, Godzilla is shown to not be able to. It's just that MP is evidently pushing an agenda here. You can easily tell. It's just the sand that's like helping Kong not die to Shimo as well, I guess.
He is just her toy. Simple as that. So, in summary, Godzilla is still far stronger than King Kong, and it's not even debatable. It's a one-shot gap easily. There is nothing Kong can do. Anyways,
Pretty much everything MP said there is true, except the fact that he said Godzilla would one-shot Kong. And why is that? Because the sand is always gonna be there to save Kong.